The book of Isaiah, chapter 47, beginning in verse 1, and it reads, Come, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Verse 2, Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Verse 3, Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to call Elohim, La Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahushai, Ba Hashem Racha, with a spread thumb. I want to say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutation to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so now more so than ever. Say shalom to the Akim and the Aqua, the listening and learning, Lord willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. It's your brother Yahweh up out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant, coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Shem Shai. This lesson is in regards to an article I came across. I forget how, but I know definitely it's through the Spirit, and just another testimony to the fact of this place going down. So, when you read Isaiah chapter 47, this is a scripture that we utilize to show you, the decadence of this place. This place is on a downward spiral. A lot of brothers use the phrase, circling the drain. Because everything, the more moral decadence of this place, you can see people, their morals, people just don't care, don't give a fuck. And the scriptures tell you that it was going to be like that in the last days. The book of 2 Timothy chapter 3, people would be vain, lovers of them own selves, So a person will do, a morally, like because people lack character, people lack any values, these people are spiritually dead, but it's manifesting, in the physical, the decadence of this place, like I literally did a video on it. They was talking about the city of San Francisco in California, the golden city, which is spiritual. Because I believe San Francisco was considered the golden city because, you get that bridge. I believe it's called the Golden State Bridge, if I'm not mistaken. God, Golden State Bridge, So, but again, and it was considered the homosexual capital of the world. And I did a video about it, like maybe, can't remember, but months back, and it was saying how it has another title, which is basically one of the crappiest cities in America because, they found like human defecation all throughout the city. So they said literally the city smelled like, shit. And that was the lure of mocking because you got a lot of sodomy that goes on there. Again, it was named the homosexual capital of the world. So scriptures talk about the Most High God is not mocked, and what you reap, you're gonna sow. So, again, showing you how this place is, circling the drain. When you go into Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 1, it says, Come sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. America, aka, Babylon the Great, which, this is spiritually Sodom and Egypt, which is mentioned in the book of Revelations, because there's many names for this place. If you can link it up with the spirit, it's a virgin because this place has never been penetrated. This place has never experienced, a foreign invasion of war. You know, of course, they had a civil war when you go into the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, Egyptian versus Egyptian, and you're gonna have that, again because of the simple fact, which is spiritual because they about to come out with that movie in 2024, which is called Civil War. You know, and you see the tensions of this place. But it's going to eventually be, invaded because, you know, you're gonna have your UN troops, and ultimately you're gonna have all these nations basically turn their back on this horror, because America's considered a whore because they're in bed with all these different nations, pushing their philosophies. But it says, "Come down and sit in the desolate virgin daughter of Babylon," which is America, aka Babylon the Great. It says, "Sit on the ground," and meaning it's gonna be sitting in a low position, in a low place. And being that that's the case, that's why this place is being mocked. And 40, 50, 60 years ago, this place would never be considered, you know what I mean? You got a war going on right now. America's at war. People don't even understand it. And that's why, like I said, a lot of people are going to be taken aback and taken caught off guard. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, this place is in a low place. You got people, the wealthiest country in the world, supposedly, that aren't eating, that are missing meals. You know what I mean? Like, and it's so funny because of the way Christmas is, which is like the most, like from Halloween to Christmas is pretty much those holidays are like some satanic, wicked ass holidays. But Christmas usually, brings in the new year on that wicked ass vibration. And it's funny because people struggle to get their children, their badass kids, these fucking, these Babylonians, these gifts, only to go into debt. And you're gonna still have people that's gonna try to keep that tradition going just because that's all they know. You know what I mean? Because they program. That's why they call them copper tops. You know what I mean? Not knowing, this place is already in debt, and it's not going to get out of debt because this is how they're going to bring that new system in. And then you got the BRICS nations bringing in their current system, which is going to probably make this American dollar inflate. That will not inflate because it's already in inflation, but hyperinflate. It says, "O daughter of the Chaldeans," which is another name for Babylon the Great, or aka America, "for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg," meaning expose this place. And this place being exposed on a multitude of levels. You got a lot of individuals that may not subscribe or understand the scriptures, but they're seeing that, this government is not right, and, they don't have their best interests. An example of that is with that whole Leave the World Behind movie. A lot of people talk about it. And I was just watching the one elder basically go into it because even my sister that, she's always believed in the scriptures, and I've been trying to show her things about the truth, but, you know, she says she got things out of it, showing you how it was a spiritual movie, but Jake is lost, because the elder broke down a video with these Jakes talking about how stupid the movie was. And basically that's the elite letting you know what they're planning to do, because the elite talk through movies. That's their way of communicating and prophesying. You know, and again, you got individuals that say the movie was stupid though. When, like I said, again, they speak a lot and say a lot about what's about to take place. From the race wars to the economy crash. They put that movie out, and the very next day you have cyber attacks in the news. So and again, like I said, you got individuals that may not understand the scriptures, but can see, that certain things are going on, because you got a million and one, breakdowns of that movie, because the elite, they put certain things out to communicate to one another. And that's why they say the initiated can see these things, That's why, signs and symbols are actually language for the initiated. Because if you're not aware, you don't have the knowledge, you won't understand it. When you look at why they revere the owl and put it on such a high level, it's because an owl is supposed to be a bird of wisdom, and it's a nocturnal bird. So it sees and lives in the dark, in secrecy. But although again, the Lord is not going to open everybody's eyes to the scriptures. That's plain. The scriptures talk about the Lord's placing stumbling blocks because He doesn't want to save everybody, and that's something that these goofy ass, um, Christians can't seem to get. The Lord has a reserve and special people. The Lord is does play favoritism. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that's hard to believe, but it's the truth of the matter. Because when you really read the scriptures with a spiritual eye, you'll see that. But not to digress, you know. It says, when you really read the scriptures, you could go into the Most High God loves. He got a particular bird He loves. He got a particular flower He loves. He got a particular people He loves. He had particular men that He loved. That's why when you go into the book of what was that, Jeremiah, I think 15 or something, he says if it don't matter if it was Noah or I think Daniel. He's named specific people because he was close to them people. He said He wouldn't spare these people. He was close to Moses. Anyhow, it says, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. And this place, shame is being seen right now. And again, it's links up with this article because, this is going to be a shame, and it's comical at the same time because, these other countries and nations are seeing these things. You got to remember, that's just like when the big bully that everybody don't like gets put on the floor, everybody rejoices. They smile at that. And it's blood in the water because you thinking these people, these nations, these heathens thinking that they they got the next top spot to rule, you know. But the scriptures tell you that who's going to rule. It says thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. So this place is being exposed, and then basically it's going into Yahweh Shah, getting his vengeance because when Yahweh Shah comes back, he's coming not in the form of a man, but as an angelic force in his full power, as that fathership, But so I'm gonna bring out a little bit of that article. It says media. Carolina Panthers play an empty stadium despite tickets going for as low as 45 cents. So this is dated December 18th, 2023, which was Monday. Since Carolina Panthers fans have become so disinterested in their team that not even tickets under $1 could convince them to go to a game. A ticket under $1, and then that's just another reason to show you how this shit over with, because that's $1 million stadium just to literally like keep the lights on in there. And if nobody's, because people don't have the money, that's another sign that this shit can't continue to go. Just like you have blood that flows into your body to actually pump blood. Well, your heart pumps blood, but what I'm saying is your blood flows through your arteries to push blood throughout your whole body. And without an economy, a nation can't flourish. So that's why they say when a that's with anything. You know what I mean? Like if you didn't have a means to support yourself as far as pay your bills, then what happens? You can't flourish. Same thing with this place. You know what I mean? Again, if nobody's spending money on these big stadiums and whatnot, you know what I mean? Yeah, they were able to get away with it the first time because, they printed all that money. But by printing all that money was literally the reason why we're here today. Some things don't just immediately happen. You got certain things that take time. And like I said, when they printed all that money, that sustained people from not having to work. A lot of these big businesses and corporations like this, got they got the huger chunk of the money that was printed. But now we're reaping the effects of that. And again, this can't be sustained. Because you basically in a debt based system. If you're already in debt, how you gonna get out the debt if you're gonna create more debt? It says after drafting quarterback Bryce Young with the number one pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the team and its fans hope that this season would mark the start of his return to championship contention. Unfortunately, the exact opposite has happened as the team is doing significantly worse than its 7-10 performance last season. Headed into Sunday's game against the 6-7 Atlanta Falcons, the Panthers were a league worst, one win out of 12 losses. Unsurprisingly, Panther fans weren't eager to fill the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. Now, I don't know exactly how that works. I'm pretty sure, like, Bank of America will put money into the stadium. I'm not for sure if they own the complete stadium, but for them to put their name on it, because that's a form of advertising, and I'm sure that they had to, put money into that, or I don't know if they get part of the proceeds, but that's one of those mega corporations that I was talking about, and Bank of America is one of right now we going through a crisis with the banks. I believe Bank of America was mentioned a few times in that because through the spirit I'll be doing a lot of videos about how these banks is failing. So again, the currency in your economy is the lifeblood of a nation functioning. Once the money's dead, like what it say in Genesis chapter what's that 47? You say the money felleth. So when the money fell, this place gonna fail. And that's why again through the spirit, Yahweh Shem Yahweh put it in their spirit to switch this currency like that. You know what I mean? Who control the money? That's why that devil made that statement. The Bauer, Rothschild. What was it? Meyer Amschel Bauer, Rothschild Bauer. He said, give me control of a nation's money and I care not who makes the laws. Unsurprisingly, Panther fans weren't eager to fill the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. In fact, demand was so low that some ticket prices plummeted to just 45 cents days before the game. And that's, like I said, again, that's just showing you this place is brought low. On top of the fact, people aren't in that mirthful spirit. The scriptures talk about being in the house of mourning before the house of mirth. Now you got 2/3 that's, basically destined to be destroyed. So of course they're not gonna, that's why you have all this distraction, you know what I mean? You even had that in the time of ancient Rome because right before Rome was being taken over, they still had, gladiators fighting in the gladiator games and, certain events going on to distract the people. Because when you go into entertainment, when you break down the definition, basically that's what it is a distraction. Bread and circus. So that's why the scriptures say be occupied in prophecies, because these is the things that's going to matter. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 24. And I'm going to start at verse 7 and it reads, the new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh, because people are struggling. People taking a beating. What the scriptures say, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. People are in a state of mourning because you got to remember they borrowed the money. They don't really have the money. They got printing presses, but that's got to be basically okayed. You can just print the money. It's so funny because when you go into the reason why the peso is so weak is because of the simple fact they borrowed a lot of money and literally printed a lot of money, and therefore that's why they're in their predicament. So because of the inflation. That's why you can go to Tijuana and live like a king with a salary of $10,000. I mean, of course, they got imports like the drugs, so therefore that's why, you got some, cartels out there that's more heavily armed than the military. You know what I mean? You got the military that be in cahoots with the cartels. You know what I mean? Because it's a poor nation based on how the dollar, you know, when it's put up against the dollar, but as far as certain resources, like Venezuela. Venezuela is a beautiful country, but basically because they consider, just show you the mindset of the devil. The things that actually are worth something, he'll try to make it seem like it's not worth nothing. And then the things that's really not worth shit, he'll tell you that's worth something. You got people that's running to America to be able to, wear this, goofy ass fashion and just a little goofy shit and these electronics and all that. Yet and still, it's natural resources that people literally, need and want that he'll try to downplay and then come and steal from you behind your back. Thus the devil, which is the so-called white man. It says, verse 8, the mirth of the tabernacle ceaseth, the noise of them rejoice endeth, the joy of the hearth ceaseth. Because this place again is in a state of mourning. And the proof of that, and there's proof of the scripture about the joy of the heart, because of the music, the distractions, the revelry, is ceasing. Because look at, like I said, they couldn't even give away the ticket. 45 cents. I bet you it's a homeless person with more than 45 cents. So that's comical, and that's, like I said again, that's showing you this place being exposed, that this bitch is going down. It's circling the drain. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 4, and it reads, I'm going to get to the point because this going into Esau Edom, basically being brought down. But I want just the point. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. And who is the king of Babylon? It's going into the elites. Sometimes brothers break it down. They say, the heads of America, but it's ultimately the elites because these heads like that puppet Joe Biden, like they're not calling any shots. A president is nothing but a CEO of a corporation. And when you go into it and dig enough or dig deep enough, you'll find out that America's a corporation. Like, it's a corporation. It's not a country like that, So, and pretty much, when you become a president, you literally are just, signing into law and doing certain things that the elites want. Why do you think we got an open border policy right now? When Trump was in office, you had a closed border policy. Now, when Biden got in office, he opened the borders. America can't even afford to take care of his average, everyday, law-abiding citizen. But yet, still, they letting all these different migrants in. And they're giving them, like this reports came out, they giving them more than they giving the average American. They taking away some Americans' benefits. I was going to do a video on that. About this lady that basically took away her social security disability, and so basically she ended up becoming homeless. That's the reality of this place. But then you have migrants coming over here and they're giving them 5,000 cash on a card, well not cash, but 5,000 on a car and a ticket to wherever they want to go. What do you think they are preparing for? To make you think of that movie, The Last Purge, Forever Purge. Because you had all those migrants sneaking into the country. It says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceaseth. And remember, I just went into the definition, or not definition, but, into the Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco, because that was considered the golden city, So, and like I said before, I did a video and they said basically San Francisco has another title now, one of the crappiest cities in the world because, basically they find defecation everywhere around the city. The city, that golden city now smells like shit. They said because literally they'll find shit on the sidewalk, shit on the walls of buildings, just, And that's the Lord mocking that place for real again. So again, that place is, or this place as a whole is being brought low. It's the book of Jeremiah chapter 51. Point is verse 7, and it reads, Babylon, which is America, aka America, because America is mentioned in scriptures many different times under different names, because this place is Babylon, which is confusion. This place has taken on customs and ideologies of a lot of ancient cities. That's why it's considered Sodom and Egypt, because what? Sodomy is practiced here on a high level. And Egypt, because this is a place of bondage. On top of the fact, look at a lot of the practice they do. This place actually has pyramids. You go into Tennessee, because I had an opportunity and was blessed to be able to go to Tennessee and meet some of the brothers in Tennessee and whatnot. And, look at the names. You got, I think it's a Egypt, Tennessee. It's definitely a Memphis, Tennessee. Well, Memphis was a part of ancient Egypt. It says, Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad, because they basically believed in the philosophies that Babylon, aka America, pushed. This democracy, which democracy isn't really, when you really go into the history of democracy, that's where you get the Athenian lawgiver Draco. Basically, I believe he was an Athenian lawgiver, but that's where all the democracies basically turned into dictatorships. The Republicans was really what. That's why so many people stressed on those basically those views of politics. Republicans, because Republicans in actuality supposed to have been for the people. It's for the good of the whole place, the republic. But in actuality, they both just methods that the elites use to, control both sides. They, the illusion of choice is more powerful. Is a more powerful tool than just upright slavery. You got individuals in slavery don't even realize they slaves, and that's more powerful than to just know you're in captivity. Because I can control you by letting you think you got a choice. Yeah. Yeah. You don't have any free will like that in this society. Take time to think about it. That's why you can't just do what you want. You can't just literally go fishing like that. You got to go get certain shit. Although the Most High God created the rivers and the lakes and the oceans, you can't just go swim because this devil is in rulership. You got to go get his fishing permit. You can't just leave the country because you got to get his passport in order to prove who you are and be able to travel. Although the Most High God created the lands and the earth. But you'll have silly ass, stupid ass people talk about this man ain't in rulership. Who faces on the money? That show you who in rulership, who faces on the money. It says, therefore the nations are mad. Verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. Verse 9, we would have healed Babylon. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. Let us go everyone into his own country, for a judgment reacheth onto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. And the scriptures talk about the sins of this place reaching onto the heavens. And that's why, it's talking about the smoke's going to reach up to the heavens as well when the Lord fucked this place up. And rightfully so. You know what I mean? You got to remember, Babylon is, confusion. It's a mixture of all these ancient kingdoms, and all the ancient kingdoms went off in a certain kind of way. The Most High God allows a kingdom to be set up, and then when their kingdom goes off, when it reaches the apex of, its society, and usually when a country reaches its apex, as far as, the height of its glory, they went off basically based on, the laws and statutes of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So that's when the Lord sends judgment. And the apex of this Edomite man's society will be when he's able to track and trace every individual on the planet. You know, everybody call us crazy or loons or whatever just because of some fact of what we know to be the truth about that C-hip technology. But it's so much information about that C-hip technology. You know, like I said again, he's not gonna change. He's gonna change you. You know what I mean? You gonna be like a walking product that he could track. You know how like you could track your Tesla, you could track your cell phone, and he gonna be able to track your ass. So you know this is what this devil has set up, and that's why he's the devil. You know what I mean? And he gonna try to get it set up by any means possible. He gonna lie, steal, kill, and destroy to get his empire. You know what I mean? Because when the scriptures go into, you know, when you go into the book of Daniel chapter 2, it talks about the empires that came previously. You know, when you go into Daniel chapter 2 and you read from what, like, when it goes into the statue. You know, when you start at, because you had, was the head of gold, which was the Neo-Babylonian empire. Because remember, Daniel had the dream or the vision of the statue. You had the head of gold, the silver, and then the brass, and then the iron. And those all represented kingdoms. So you know, the gold was the Babylonians, the silver was the Medo-Persians because basically they absorbed the kingdom after the Babylonians. Then you had the Greeks that basically came into power after the Medo-Persians because Alexander the Great basically conquered the Medo-Persians. And that's showing you, like the scriptures say, you know, because it tells you in the scriptures in the book of Daniel about the Most High God ruleth in the kingdom of man and give it to whomever he will. You know, usually kingdoms are established by bloodshed. So, you know, Alexander conquered, you know, the Medo-Persians, you know, and then you went into the Romans, which absorbed the Greeks. That's why you got the Greco-Roman Empire, which was all Edomites. But then when you read after that, because it says, Daniel 2 and verse 40, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and so do of all. And when you go into the Roman Empire, you know, one of the main things that made them such a beast and such like, you know, they were nothing to be, they were to be feared and reckoned with. You know, they wasn't just somebody that you shrugged the shoulder to. Like when you heard they basically the Lord blessed them with the technology at that time. That's how you know that this man is Esau, because Esau was basically given the power of the sword. The Roman Empire basically conquered all those empires because of the weaponry they had. You know, they went into the Steel Age. You know, at that time the weapons wasn't as strong as it. You know, I believe that short sword, the gladius. You know, that particular sword reinvented warfare at that time. It says, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdue of all things, and as iron that breaketh all things shall it break in pieces and bruise. Verse 41, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes. So, you know, the fourth kingdom, which was iron, was Rome, but then it says, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron. So that's another kingdom. The kingdom shall be divided. So, you, like I just said, that's another kingdom. And it said partly clay and partly iron. So that would be America. Because, and it's deep too, because America, this current system is the foundation of, you know, it's based off of all these previous empires. But it's not, you know, it's partly strong and it's partly weak. Because it's partly iron and it's partly clay. And then it said it will be divided. And you see that now. You know, you got division just based on the fact of, you know, how this political system runs. You know, there's many divisions. You got divisions on just like literally what a few years ago when you had these Egyptians or Babylonians, you had some that wanted to take the C hip. I mean, not the C hip, but the jump shot. You had some that was against it, some for it. That's why you got a lot of people that got it, and you had a lot of people that basically refused it. You know, and that's what's gonna cause the civil war. And it's not by coincidence, like I said, out the blue. They talk about it's a movie called Civil War because what they doing is doing witchcraft in front of you. The scriptures say there's no enchantment that could work on Jacob. You know what I mean? Like the Lord ain't gonna let his elect be confounded. That's why you got individuals that can see basically everything that's going on. That's why the elites hate us so much and respect us at the same time, though. Because scripture talk about the sinner against the godly. Basically like how in the book of the Matrix, I mean not in the book of the Matrix, in the movie The Matrix, you had Mr. Smith and Neo, where it was like that's the opposites, polarity. You had your good and your evil. Scriptures talk about the sinner against the godly and the godly against the sinner. It's a balance to all things. And when things become out of balance, that's when things happen. And then, like I said, this place basically has become so wicked, it's out of balance. And the Lord has to put it back in balance by coming to judge this place. It says, and the toes which were part of iron, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Salaki, I skipped. It says the kingdom. It says, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of iron. But there shall be in it of the strength of iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. So it's going to be strong. Well, it's going to say it. It say verse 42. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And this place is still partly strong because America has a huge military. When you go into the budget that's spent on the military is more than they spend on anything else. It's a hammer. That's why the scriptures talk about it's considered the hammer of the earth. That's why even you've had, I forgot what general made that statement, but it's a quote. He say, basically America's a big ass hammer and he's looking for the nail to smack. But the military ain't gonna matter, because scriptures talk about spiritual warfare. You pulling down strongholds. So I mean, and also that military was set up for a reason. Because ultimately, in the battle of Yehoshaphat, that American military is going to end up over there along with the armies of the other nations, all to be destroyed by Yahushua Mashiach, who you people ignorantly call Jesus Christ. People don't even know this. Literally, did y'all know the Red Sea is basically drying up, which is actually prophesied in the scriptures? They've been talking about these things for years, yet still you ain't got people that don't even believe. And that should make you truly fear the Most High God, for real, because literally everything that's happening in the world that can be explained by the scriptures, and you got people that don't even believe in the scriptures. It says, verse 43, and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay, meaning the divisions. These people aren't getting along. You know what I mean? And the scriptures talk about that in the book of Mark chapter 3. It say, if a kingdom be divided, that kingdom cannot stand. Verse 44, and in the days of these kings shall the Most High God of heaven. This is the point, because, it was going into this devil's kingdom going down. And although you got these heathens, like you got, Moab, which is, the so-called Chinese, that believe, that's why, you got, those Russian Edomites, all these individuals, all these heathen nations trying to jockey and seeing America like looking weak, and they're trying to position themselves so that they think they can rule next, but it's not going to be like that. Scripture say that it's going to be an everlasting kingdom set up, and it's going to be the kingdom of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, the kingdom of Yahushua, with the Israelites in power. And this is the proof of that. And in the days of these kings shall the Most High God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. When you go into I believe upper in the chapter, it talks about a stone breaking that statue into pieces, and that stone is Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, who you people ignorantly call Jesus Christ. He's that stone, that chief cornerstone. So this is going to destroy all them kingdoms. Like I said, literally, if you were given this truth and you in this ministry, your job, your concern is to literally preach this word. That's the point. That's your obligation. That's your duty. Scriptures talk about make your body a living sacrifice. So but yeah. So I'm probably gonna end it there because I just found it funny because this devil, like I said, is really his powers is waning. His power is he's losing his power. He's losing his position. And like I said again, he thinking that he's got a controlled demolition. He's picking his part. Because a lot of things are orchestrated. Because these elites, they control freaks, and then they trying to control the outcome of a situation, but they gonna lose control of it. So if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, to the statutes, and to the commandments of your power, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Loyum, La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Rachak. Say double honor to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwata to listen and learning, Lord, willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad and the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, subscribing to the truth to you. I say shalom. Till next time I'm able to come with another lesson, I'm going to say shalom, shalom, and mawach lababal, shalom.